What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Mac Effect. Your host here, Mike, like always, saying thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for commenting, subscribing, sharing. It's just an honor when I see you guys showing love and support. With that, I want to also say thank you for all the interaction, the comments, the ideas, your thoughts, your perspective, your point of views when it comes to the topics that we're hitting. It's a blessing because the truth is it's beautiful to see different perspective, different ideas, different ways of processing, because then you really start understanding what mercy and grace is. So thank you guys for all the comments, the suggestions, the ideas, all that good stuff. I love the fact that you guys are truly enjoying my co-host. I kid you not, I was praying, I'm asking, I'm always asking God, what do I do? What's next? I'm already planning interviews for season 7. But before we get there, I definitely want to just welcome you guys back to another great episode. Great topic. And I just think you guys are going to really enjoy this one. So with that said, I'll catch you guys at the end of the episode. But I hope you guys enjoy it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another great episode to the Mac Effect. Co-host here, Ivett.
Hey.
Yay. And as you can see, we're representing, baby. LA all the way. This was more her idea, and this is when God starts showing me this is more of like the feminine side, like let's make it look like this and let's make it look like that. And it's like, all right, let's do it. I'm all up for it. I'm open to improvements and suggestions, and let's do it. But with that said, guys, definitely want to bring you guys a super cool episode, an episode that I think will be a blessing to your life. We're titling it Honesty versus Transparency. And I think one of the reasons why I like having this conversation is because we do live in a world right now where people are honest, but transparency is just a rare thing to find. And before we jump into like what I believe in all these things, sister, off the get-go, when I say honesty versus transparency, there's no right or wrong answer. What comes to your mind?
So honesty is speaking truth, but transparency is being completely real, is how I interpret it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like when you're dating. That's like one of the best examples that comes right off the bat.
That's a very good example.
You are trying to give that person the most real perspective of who you truly are. And we're being honest, right? But in some aspects, we're not being transparent.
Correct.
So you're still kind of, what would be the word? You kind of do not completely just expose yourself for who you truly are. I mean, it comes with the dating process. I understand that. But that's the first way that I can explain the difference between honesty and transparency.
I think that's a great example because when you start dating, the reality is you're presenting the best form of you. Mm-hmm. You're dressed the best, you smell the best, you took care of yourself, you prepared yourself. And then when you live with someone, now this is where the transparency happens, when you're like, I didn't see this before. I had no idea this happened, or you were like this, or this was like that. Because now you're getting to see who the real person is. So I think your analogy when it comes to that, or your example, it's very good. I like to, you know me, sister, sometimes the conversation that we have, I tell you, give me the definition of what that means for you, because we need to have a fundamental agreement in order to be able to move forward with our conversation. Because if our definition of honesty and transparency is different, then we're not gonna be like we're gonna see things in a different matter. Um, so for me, honesty is something. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to have like a definition for it, but it's honesty is being truthful.
Well, let me look it up. Maybe that can help.
Okay. While you look it up, for me, honesty is someone being truthful, and then transparency is obviously this isn't the right word, but it's you don't need to ask me the right question in order for me to give you the full understanding or the full situation for you to know what exactly happened.
Okay. So according to the dictionary, honesty means the quality of being honest. They spoke with convincing honesty about their fears. The definition for transparency, the quality of allowing light to pass through so that objects behind can be distinctly seen.
But I mean, I genuinely loved the symbolic of the light transpassing through you so that the object behind you can be seen. It's kind of like what I just said right now, where it's like you don't need to ask me the right question in order for me to give you the full honesty. Have you ever found yourself in your either past relationships, like you noticed that people were being honest with you, but they weren't telling you the full truth?
Yes, and I think we practice that as a culture where we are honest about a certain portion of our thought or our emotion
Yeah.
or our feelings towards something, or even the way we portray ourselves. Like we're being honest because, yes, this is a part of us, but are we truly genuinely being transparent with the reality of who we are?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
No,
think that's a word that I associate, like genuineness is transparency for me versus
it's
being
very
honest.
close. I get what you're saying. It's very close to you when it comes to what it means.
Yeah.
Okay. And when in these relationships that you were with, like, if you can you remember an example of you were like, I was genuinely trying to find out what was going on, but they were not telling me the truth.
So I think for me, I've always had this concept like I want to be in a relationship where I feel that we're just honest with one another. It's like a team effort. Like I've always wanted a best friend.
Yeah.
But obviously you're my partner, the person that I'm going to try to do a life with or whatnot. So I clearly remember an incident where I kept trying to express that to the other person. Like, look, we're in the same team, right? So please communicate with me whether you think I'm going to get upset or not. Like, just communicate your thoughts or communicate things to me that are important and relevant, right? But for whatever reason, that wouldn't be like received from his side.
Yeah.
It was almost like I would always have to find out things when they were happening or when they had already happened. And it's not a control thing. It wasn't a control thing. It was more like, I'm on your team. Like, I just would like for you to inform me of what's going on versus finding out through a third person or finding out aftermath, right?
Yeah.
So in his defense, it was like, well, I'm being honest because he's not telling me the full situation. He told me a portion, but it didn't include another portion that was very important and relevant.
Of course.
So then that became a conflict because then I started not trusting him.
Yeah. And then people that are unhealthy, because I heard you say something around people that were like you said something like not in a controlling way. People that are unhealthy then come back at you. I almost want to say narcissistic behavior, but it's very dangerous to say that word because I think we all kind of carry narcissism, but to certain levels. Nevertheless, I'm sure he would flip it on you and be like, "You're just controlling. You're just this," because I can see it the response because I've been there too, where it's like it's not control, bro. Like you're gaslighting me. It was not control. It's I'm genuinely looking for a partnership. I'm not looking for
Definitely.
control. So I can affiliate, like I could relate to you when you say that it was like, I am seeking to connect. I am seeking for a deep bond. It can feel fairy tale, but I truly believe when I commit, like yo me entrego, because I believe cuando tú te das todo, like God's gonna truly bless that. Like there's no plan B, you know? So right
Definitely.
now when you were saying that, like I've been in situations, I hear what you're saying where it's like, well, this happened, then they flip it on you, but they forgot to mention they're the ones that started texting. Isn't that a coincidence that they forgot to say this, or that they forgot to add to the part that I they just forgot to add the details that are very, very important. And to me, it's like that's the frustrating part when with me, Mike, I don't need the right question to come in order for me to be completely transparent. I'm willing and open. Uh not all, it wasn't like that always.
Mm-hmm.
It took healing. It took a process. It took getting away from feeling embarrassed, because one of the reasons why we're not transparent is because we're too embarrassed. I'm going to have to admit my secrets in this. I'm going to have to admit that I have a lustful eye. I'm going to have to admit that I've been texting someone behind their back. A lot of I don't want to say a lot, but there's like a big chunk of infidelity issues that happen within the work field. Why? Because these things are real. So why not discuss it with your partner, be open about it, and say, hey, we need to be careful because it can happen to you the same way it can happen to me. I'm kind of like going everywhere right now with it, but the reality is like there is a big difference between honesty and transparency. Huge.
Definitely. But it falls within the same realm of your character.
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to what we've always shared. We have to be very mindful of our accountability, our character, and if we hold ourselves to a standard of honesty and transparency within the people that we're with, then there's really nothing that you have to keep up with because you're being yourself, your true, genuine self. And then you don't get caught up in those situations. And I guess that's the part that I wouldn't understand. Like, I'm being honest, I'm
Yeah.
communicating my moves and what I'm up to and my intentions in my friendship or in my relationship. But why does it not get reciprocated? And then that's when, again, you have to look inward. I can't control anyone else but myself, and people will give you the level of capacity that they have.
Yep. And right now, I'm really like hearing you, and I'm also praying and I'm asking God, how do you get your partner, your friendships, your people around you, how do you get them to be transparent? And it doesn't mean it's always 100% spot on. This is exactly how it's going to work. But you lead by example. You open up and you let them know where your shortcomings are, what you're doing wrong, how you feel, how certain things are like. Um, I mean, it's kind of a little embarrassing, but at the same time, it's reality, right? Like I've shared this in a previous podcast that like one of my buddies was telling me like, we were both married at the time. I was married at the time. He's still married. I mean, I'm still married, but anyways, you guys understand what I'm saying. And, and, what happened was he was telling me about like, how many times can you be intimate and all these things like, and as a guy, these things come about like the more times I can do it, that means the more I'm a man. And I was very honest with him and I'm like, well, look, this and this and this, but not in a lustful way for like us thinking of our wives and things like that. We were generally being open. But when I was open, he came back and he was like, bro, me too. And I'm like, I know, because pornography really dirties and taints something that God has created to be so beautiful and makes it seem that it has to be like this and puts pressure on this. So anyways, the point that I'm getting to is if I would have faked it too, if I would have said, oh yeah, 7 times and blah, 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 then the other side would have been like, oh yeah, same thing. But because one was the example of vulnerability, it allowed the other person to say, you know what, me too. And again, I'm sorry for the example, but I'm trying to put it out there so that you guys can see, like, it takes that person. For your spouse, you might have to humble yourself and say, you know what, I was very mad at you today because I saw the way you were looking at that waitress, that waiter, and blah, 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 blah. And it hurt my heart. Instead of throwing a tantrum, getting upset, and then you guys are just bickering and fighting, that moment of vulnerability, the first time, the first 5 times might not cause any switch, but it's going to cause a switch in you. And God willing, little by little, when you heal yourself, it starts healing the people around you. And now people around you start knowing how to be vulnerable with you. Sister, yes or no? We're like hanging out. We could be like just me and you or with the kids, whatever, right? And then friendships come from church, from family, whatever. And for whatever reason, when they come to us, they just start opening up. And I'm just like, why? Like, why do you feel the need to open up with me, but you don't open up with them? But it's because they have seen transparency on the podcast or somewhere in our daily lives that they say, I can be open with them.
So going back to everything you just mentioned right now, so the relevance of honesty and transparency is a fundamental, like trustworthiness. It leads to trustworthiness.
Okay, good.
Based on what I'm hearing from you as well, right? That's how I literally everything you said. That's how I interpret it, right?
Yeah.
Because we need that for our relationships, our friendships, our relationships with our kids, with like it's so important to be honest and transparent in a healthy manner with our children, in our relationships, for those of us that are dating, for those of us that are married. I mean, it's a fundamental necessity to have transparency and honesty, because that's where you build trust from, in my opinion. And if we don't like try to work and navigate the true level of honesty and transparency in all of our relationships, we're kind of cheating ourselves from genuine connections, from genuine relationships. Like looking back to my past, I feel like I had all the intention, again, no perfection, I made mistakes, but my whole intention, again, wasn't to control the situation. It was more for him to know, like, dude, she's in my corner. Like, there's nothing to worry about. Whether it was going to bother me or not, I preferred for it to have came from him than for me to have heard it from somewhere else, which is what I was trying to avoid.
Yep.
So we were cheating ourselves from a true, genuine team effort situation and a true connection, because there wasn't honesty, and then obviously it led to no trust. So again, just the fundamental of like really being real with ourselves, because that is going to mold the relationships that we do have around us. And when you mentioned how, people trust us and they seek, to connect or whatever and be honest and open, like I'm glad and I'm thankful, like for all this last couple of weeks, like even doing this co-hosting thing is completely out of my element. But I'm thankful for it because it's exposed me to great comments. People have reached out saying how they admire our dynamic as siblings.
Yeah.
That they, praise the fact that I'm being supportive, because obviously this is not my thing. And they give us suggestions and they give us words of encouragement. And it shows that, as embarrassing as it could be sometimes to put our thoughts out here because it's so scrutinized as well, it's serving a purpose. And that's the intention. Like, we've already messed up in life. We have maybe in the past have not been honest and transparent about certain things, and it led to certain conflict. We're trying to just better ourselves and share our journey to bless someone else and say, hey, yeah, we're human. We've been there. Let's do better. Let's try to be more aware of, are we being honest? Are we being transparent? Because it's fundamental.
Yeah. And I've always said, like, you want a blessed relationship, start asking the questions. If you notice that your relationship's a little bit on the rocky side, ask yourself, is there transparency in the relationship? And in any type of relationship, not just marriage, not just partnership, siblings, parents, whatever, right? Transparency is so important. Like, if you're keeping a separate bank account, you're not being transparent. That's a secret. You're hiding something. If you're talking to someone that you're not supposed to, social media is one of the biggest problems. If you're DMing people, if you're Snapchatting, because Snapchat, it erases after 24 hours or something like that, or as soon as you see it, dude, you know what you're doing. And if you're doing these things, then no wonder the relationship's not prosper.
And those are just actions, like DMs, and those are actions. I also perceive it as transparency, as being comfortable enough to ask something like, hey, is this bothering you?
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
hey, this hurt my feelings. Or, hey, the other day that you did X, Y, and Z, it made me uncomfortable. Transparency is also being able to communicate exactly what you're feeling versus passive aggressiveness, or just ignoring it, or just putting it under the rug, pretending like everything is fine. Because before you even get to the DMs, these emotions are already bottling up.
Yeah.
Whether it be with siblings, friendships, relationships, or guys that you're dating, or, girls that you're dating. Like, you have to be able to get to a point of genuine connections.
Yeah.
Where we don't always have to see eye to eye. Like, that's real life. But let's be honest with each other. Let's be honest. Let's be transparent. Let's show our true colors.
Yep. That's one of the things that I have with my children. I tell them, I'm like, guys, let's be honest. Papi has very little patience when I know I'm being lied to or I'm not being told the full truth. I have very minimal patience for that. But when they've opened up, when they've told me like the real bad stuff, like finally, I'm just like, thank you guys for being honest. Now we can work from here and we can really figure out what is the main problem. And do you notice the difference? How Papi's not yelling, how Papi's not this, which valid, I have to get better at as well. Be more patient in all these things. 100% not perfect. A lot of improvements that I still need to make. However, I'm just expressing to them, be open, be vulnerable, as scary as it is. I failed my test because I didn't study. Thank you. You know what? I am disappointed that you didn't study, but I'm more glad that you told me the full truth. You will lose your phone for 2-3 days. You'll get it back eventually. And then hopefully next time you study, boom, we're fixing it. But when you don't tell me and you try to come at me and you got a 23% test score and you're trying to tell me that you studied, no, my friend, don't come at me with this, because this one's not going to be tolerated,
And again, I think that that's a great example of, even if children do it, I mean, obviously adults will do it as well.
Correct.
But this is something that I've also practiced with my daughter, where I communicate constantly. Like, we have boundaries, right? Like, I've set certain boundaries with Abby that she's aware of. And I tell her, although you might not follow what my expectations are or whatnot, I want you to just be honest with me. Even if I am going to be upset, I want you to just be honest. Because, again, that's going to lead to trust and effective communication between us. And I feel like those are fundamentals in any relationship, and it stems from just being honest.
Yep.
It's an uncomfortable situation to be in, especially if you're not used to being honest, if you're not used to being genuine, if you have to keep up with certain, statuses, or like if it's part of a double life that you're living.
Yeah.
I get that it gets complicated, but I also feel like that's why we're discussing this, because the reality is, if we stop trying to live that double like situation or persona that we try to project, like you're going to be more at peace. It's going to be liberating for you to just say, you know what, I'm not perfect, and all of us in this world are not perfect, and we just have to try to be a little bit more genuine.
Yeah, people go broke trying to impress people they don't like, to try to show off a life they can't afford. And it's like, wait, make that make sense. I'm trying to impress people I don't even like, to live a lifestyle that I want to live, but I can't afford. Like, all those things are, it's not, the honest is, did you buy it? Yes, I did purchase it. I did buy it. The transparency is, but I can't afford it. So, like, why would you put yourself in that position? And you spoke about honesty, transparency when it comes to emotions, and being like, hey, something's stirring up already on the inside, bro. And that should already be the red flag to start seeking help or whatever.
Well, right now that you're mentioning the material aspect of it, like I don't even perceive it to that level, because your person, your character is going to bleed into all of your life. Whether it's be like your social media, your finances, your family. That's why I started with the emotional, because again, I've learned in my journey, and I'm older obviously than you. I've gone through a lot of challenges in life, and I have learned through my journey that it all starts within me. Like, I have to fix my heart. I have to fix my perspective. I have to fix my core characteristics. My character as a person is what I'm trying to say. And that's one of them. Where, of course, no vas a pasar toda la vida diciendo todas tus verdades a todo mundo. We're talking in aspects of the relationships that you're developing, the person that you're projecting to be. There has to be a level of genuineness, because in my case, I'm a mom. So my daughter is going to become what she sees within me, how I conduct myself, how I deal with things. Not just what I'm telling her.
Yeah. And valid, right? Something that we say on a lot of episodes, that it all starts from within. I'm simply giving the example of, like, again, you said emotional. I'm kind of going more based off actions, but the actions should start stirring up the questions that are eventually going to bring you back to the internal. Why do I need to do that? Why do I feel I need to keep up with the Joneses? Like, you know, if my compadre has it, why is it that I want it now? Like, things of that nature that eventually start stirring up the questions of, like, why is my identity so much in these things, in these actions, in this relationship, in this person, in this codependency, all these things, right? When that starts bringing up the internal part, where it's like, is it because I'm lacking? One of the episodes that I had with Rudy, he was very vulnerable and open that his goal is he wants to get a G-Wagon. He wants to buy a G-Wagon. They're very expensive, very luxurious, very nice. But he also tells me, but I'm still praying, one, because we can't afford it. Like, we're nowhere near it. And he's like, number two, I want to make sure it's not stemming from an inner child, that because I grew up with very little and very nothing, that's a way of me trying to tell the world I'm worth these things, whether you guys like it or not. And I was like, that's why I respect Rudy so much, because I'm like, dang, Rudy, you didn't have to share that, but you're being very honest, very open, and saying, like, I just need to make sure it's not stemming from a place where I'm trying to feel something within me, when the reality is material things, there's nothing wrong with it. Enjoy them, but do not make them your identity. Like, if you lose them, you lose them. It is what it is.
Definitely.
And he teaches me that. So I'm so grateful I have that role model in my life, because then he teaches me to start looking at that in my life. And then to me, it's like, I mean, people tell me, like, oh, you're just mad because you're not going to live the lifestyle you had before. And it's like, what you talking about? I'm still going to go to Costco. Like, what you mean? Like, I'm still going to go to Target. like I'll be fine. Like, life is not going to change for me in that sense, but it's like, God will provide, you know, like, God shows you in the identity, like, no te va a faltar nada, you know, and it's because of the healing, because if I didn't have it, my world would completely crumble down, and it's like, it's over, you know? So I don't know. What do you think?
I think that comment that you just made goes back to the other episode, like the labels, where you just have to stop yourself and say, like, whatever anyone says doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you're working on being a genuine, honest, transparent individual with integrity, I mean, you have to, that comes with life. There's going to be critics.
And if anything, perfect example of how everything intertwines with each other, why we always consistently say we need to fix the internal first before we fix external. It just goes to show you that these episodes are not just like one and done, or they're isolated by themselves. All of them at some point mesh together. You got to learn how not to let these labels affect you, so that when honesty and transparency comes, you're confident in who you are. So the labels won't affect this when you do have it or you don't have it. Or because when it comes to honesty and transparency, sometimes it's an internal emotion. Sometimes it's an external action. You're trying to show off. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm good. I don't need therapy. I don't need this. And then little do you know, it's like, bro, you really do. And then we need to really start digging deeper or whatever. So everything meshes within itself.
And how do these topics come about? Because these are things that we've dealt with personally. This is things that we, like, life doesn't happen in little segments where you can separate one topic from the other. You've had to deal with honesty and transparency with co-parenting relationship or situations. I have as well. When I was going through, you know, like the emotion of my separation when I was going through that phase in my life, obviously we deal with these kind of situations, and we're trying to come up with subjects that are also not that popular or spoken on very often, that have been something that we've had to face and process and understand that better, so that we can continue to grow and go through these challenges in life in a better, more healthier manner.
So your guys' life must be boring then, because it's always about healing. It's always about this. No, 100% false and wrong. If anything, our life is tremendously at peace, knowing that I'm not doing anything to hurt anyone else, knowing that I'm doing the best that I can as a father. I mean, I love helping people. I love doing that. I love genuinely showing someone, speaking this with you guys, because there is a lot of you that comment that say, I never seen it this way. I never thought of it this way. This blessed me. Beautiful, because that's the whole purpose, to help you. We'll have playtime when it's playtime, and we'll do what we need to do. But then there's moments where it's like people by themselves come and they start, I don't know why, I just feel like crying when I see you guys or when I'm with you. And it's like, because you feel that you won't be judged. You feel no one's going to criticize you, or you did it for the third time. What a tonto. It's nothing like that. It's no judgment. It's genuinely, for me, it's like, you really want to get better? Then let's do this together, man. I tell you guys all the time, send in your prayer request. Send in, if you guys want resources, come on. Maybe I can help you. Maybe she can help you. Maybe it's best to send you to Rudy and Tanya. Maybe it's best for Rudy and Tanya to help us to find another place suitable for you guys, to find you guys a church to connect in. Many options that you guys have at your disposal. All you guys have to do is reach out.
And right now that you said that about healing being boring, I personally find it so fascinating, because
no, I agree with you. I'm saying the unhealthy people think this.
And again, it goes back to the labels. Like, that's what you want to label it. And at the end of the day, did the light turn off?
Yeah, se me pagaron.
Okay.
We're going to have to just keep going, because by the time I charge them and turn them back on.
So at the end of the day, like, that's that person's perception. That's their level of understanding. I find it fascinating because my life turned around. Like, I was a person that would allow people to like humiliate me, belittle me sometimes in ways that were not healthy. It was not healthy for me. Like I was constantly like having stomach problems because of nerves and anxiety when I had to interact with certain people. I don't have to deal with that anymore. I have found ways to say, you know what, I love you, but I'm sorry I can't be part of this anymore, and just kind of give yourself that space. So for me, it's fascinating because it's brought a level of joy, a level of peace, a functionality in my life. Like I don't live in constant chaos. I don't live in constant like turmoil. It's a level of freedom. Like I'm able to be free.
I
I am
agree.
a imperfect person that is not trying to portray anything, that can show you her life in her bad days and can show you her life in the good days. And she stands here saying, I've made a lot of mistakes. I made mistakes yesterday. And I'm just trying to be a person that's learning from others in a constructive manner, for my own well-being, because I've understood that my behavior is going to bring consequences to me and those around me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to minimize for myself.
I
So
agree.
for me, that's fascinating.
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. I'm saying that the people that say these things though are the ones that are unhealthy, are also the ones that say, I don't want to become a Christian because I'm going to have to stop drinking. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't have to stop drinking. And I know that can be something for people to be like, wait, what? You don't? And it's like, no, you don't even have to stop smoking, bro. You want to keep smoking, keep smoking.
Because it goes back to
Be-
honesty and transparency. God wants you for who you are.
Correct.
Exactly in
Correct.
this moment with your
Correct.
flaws and all.
Correct.
So,
I'm a strong believer that in your walk with the Lord, He's going to tell you whether if you have to leave it or not, or if you this or that. That's on you. That's your own personal relationship. But it's like, oh, can you be a Christian and be a cheater at the same time? Yeah, you can, because that's how much God's going to love you. But I'm sure at some point, there's not going to be judgment. There's just God's going to help. Oh, you can, so that's why I bring it up right now, because I've gotten it where a lot of people say these things. Especially the ones that are like super party people and all they want to do is go to clubs and stuff like that. I get it. That's your fun. And I'm for it. If that's what you like, go for it. That's what you like. Just don't call my stuff boring because it's something that you don't like. But that's the level of maturity that.
and see, I perceive it different. If people make those comments to me directly, okay, that's your opinion.
Yeah, no.
Like it doesn't phase me. I give it no energy. It doesn't phase me. I don't give it any reaction. I shut it down there because again, it is what it is.
Yeah, no. And same with me when it comes to that in particular moment. Because for me, it's just wanting to help other people, wanting to be there for others. And it just makes me sad that because you're so blinded and calling it boring, you're really limiting yourself in living a
Yeah.
life of freedom, you know?
And
But it's
real
almost
connections.
but it's almost the same thing as when you introduce Jesus to people. Like there's a reason why Jesus gets rejected a lot of the times. People really think it's like, I'm going to have to give up my life to follow him. And it's like, yes, but the Bible says when you give up your life, you actually gain your life. But when you try to have your own life, you're actually really losing it. So it's like, I get it. Trust me, it doesn't faze me either, but I just wish people would know, like, no, it's not, bro. It's actually very cool to see people flourish in their healing, to see people flourish in their calling, to see people do things that they genuinely love to do. I think it's pretty amazing.
And that's what you're doing through your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're trying to share that little bit of a seed. And if this serves one person, two or three, or let's hope 100, like then we've done our due diligence
That's right.
in this world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, do me a big favor. Share with us what's relating with you guys. Give us your thoughts. Give us your experiences. Write down on the comments. What have you gone through when it comes to honesty versus transparency in your life that I can read and hopefully it inspires me. I love it when you guys write comments, emails, all these things. When I read them, and I find out the stories that you guys are openly sharing, do I reply or do I not reply? I reply to every single one of you, and I'm just like, thank you so much for sharing. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like, I take my time in reading it, and I take my time in writing back. Like, because the stories, to me, it's like, wow, God, like, you're showing me strength through them, or they're going through a difficult time. Let me give them strength. Let me pray for them. Or I'm going through something sad and you guys don't even know it, but then the message comes in that says, dude, don't stop, keep going. You're doing such a great job. And I'm just like, God, today I was thinking of throwing in the towel, and that one message just really helped to keep pushing. So share, guys. Please, please go ahead and share. So, yeah. What do you think so far?
So far, I think that, again, we need to just reiterate how it's important to learn to be honest and transparent in who we are and what we do, because at the end of the day, the only person that you are treating out of genuine, real connections and experiences in life and wisdom is yourself.
That was good. That was
Right?
good. That was good. That was good. Be honest and transparent, guys, because the only person you cheat is yourself.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Because then you're living a life of a lot of superficial. And that's why you hear a lot of things on the news that these celebrities, we all think riches and fame is what we want. And then these celebrities are committing suicide or something bad is going on in their lives. And it's like, they have it. So why? Because that's not true. That money is like gonna solve all your problems. It's not. It's wholesome from within that's gonna solve problems and things like that. So that was such a good drop right there that you did, sister. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's something else you want to add on. I know we've already had about 50 to an hour.
Do you have an example of honesty and transparency that you have seen become an issue, or how has that difference or distinction affect your life?
I have a lot of examples.
Well, maybe not examples, because let's try to like not provide details of things, but I'm saying, like, in your overall opinion, the difference in the distinction between honesty and transparency, how has that impacted your life?
Yeah. I mean, it's impacted me in a way where treat others the way you want to be treated. So I genuinely am very transparent, very open. I have another friend. His name is Chris. You met him. I interviewed him. He's in one of the episodes in season 4, I think. And Chris and I, when we hang out, we're just like, bro, like it's so weird. Like, we're just so transparent now that, like, no matter where we go, like, we're just like very transparent. And you can tell that some of the men around us are just like, whoa, like TMI. And it's like, sorry, man, but we're just honest. Like, if you don't want to be honest, that's on you. But yeah, sometimes, you want to quit. Sometimes you want to throw in the towel. Sometimes you feel like this. But then it's like, but love tells us, like, that's just not the right answer. That's not the right approach. We just need to reset. Like, we just really bond like that. So there is a lot of things that, like, through seeing it done to me has really made me dislike it, to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be transparent. Like, I'm not going to be someone that's just going to, only when it benefits me. Like, even if it hurts me, sister, how many times haven't I led a conversation with you, with Tanya, with Rudy, with only a handful of friends, where I tell you guys, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. Even if the truth makes me look bad, I'll tell you exactly how it went or what happened, because I genuinely want to learn, what did I do wrong, so that if I have to get it better for myself, then for me to fix it in the situation.
And right now that you gave the example about how you are more transparent when you chit chat with your friends or whatnot, what came to mind is, it's important because you're going through a situation, whatever the situation can be, and by being transparent and honest, fully honest and genuine with that friend, you get real, genuine advice that could be constructive to your situation.
Yep.
Versus if you are not transparent, you never get maybe that word of encouragement that you need, or that guidance or that support that you truly are in need of so that you can be successful. We're just being superficial. Yep. We're just being ungenuine. And then we continue on with unhealthy patterns that lead to consequences for ourselves, but then consequences to those around us. Yep. And again, the one thing that I will always repeat, for me, it's important because I have a little one that's watching.
Yeah. And everything that you just said, who are you cheating yourself? Or who are you cheating out? Yourself. Because you weren't open, you didn't get that genuine response back either, and now we're just pretending. I have friends that, how's it going? How's the situation? Fine. Orale. They don't want to let me in. I have friends, how's it going? Bro, I'm so pissed. I want to do this. Let's talk. And there's the difference of who you cheat yourself out. So very good.
And then by being transparent and honest, like I could get on the phone with several of my friends, and by just even saying hello, what's wrong, Ivett? Why do you have that tone? What do you mean?
Because ya te conocen.
Because we get to a
connection.
Point, yes, of genuineness, and that's what I want my corner to look like.
So good.
People that can hear my tone of voice and know, like, hey, I'm here for you.
Yeah, so good.
And it's vice versa. Like, hey, dude, why do you sound like that? And we try to uplift each other, because that's what life is about.
That's right.
You know, not trying to tear each other apart. It's like, let's lift each other. Let's say, hey, you were wrong. I was wrong. We didn't communicate, but let's be honest now, moving forward, and be the team that we've always wanted to be.
Yeah. You guys following? You guys are seeing the difference between honesty and transparency. You guys see the difference, how all the episodes mesh together, how inner healing is so important, how identity is so important, how doing it for the loved ones around you, it's so important. For when you heal yourself, how it bleeds into the rest of you, how co-parenting is a big factor in shows of your in emotional intelligence, or it shows that you're really not entering a process. Like, everything meshes together. So, man, I'm excited for other episodes, guys. I hope it's blessing. And again, please share where it's touching you and what's it blessing, and your comments and your experiences. But we need those, guys. So please. But with that being said, I have to wrap the episode. I know we could keep going for more and more, but maybe we do a part 2. Maybe we speak on it in another podcast. But for right now, I think it's plenty of nuggets for you to take home, process them, receive them, and then we'll just see each other until the next episode. With that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Mac Effect out. Peace.